Good morning, everybody. This is Ed Avis. I'm the Managing Director of APDSP, and I want to welcome you all to our webinar this morning on making a better website for your reprographics firm. The panelists today represent three leading companies in websites for reprographics shops, and I think that you will find that their presentations will show you some options for what you could do in your company. And I invite you to be in touch with these firms if you find their product interesting to you. We welcome questions during this presentation. So whenever you have a question, please use the questions tab on your screen and submit that question. If you don't see the questions tab, hit that orange arrow on your top right of your screen, and that should reveal it. We will have the questions answered by the panelists after each of their presentations. So for example, after the first person is done, then we'll ask the questions of her, etc. So as soon as you have questions, fire away. But if questions come up later, for a previous panelist, of course, you're welcome to do that. Just indicate in the question that you want it to be for a previous panelist. So today's panelists are Molly Koch from PrinterPresence, John Weisberg from Print Science, and Joseph Zobati from ReproConnect. And with that, we're going to jump right in so we can get started. I'm going to change the presenter so that Molly Koch will present first. Okay, Molly, are you ready?
I'm ready. Thank you so much for having us today and inviting us to share a little bit about our companies. I am from PrinterPresence, and PrinterPresence serves nearly 2,000 print, sign, and reprographics firms in 14 countries on 6 continents. We just discovered our 6th continent. And our roots come from the printing industry, and we've been at this for more than 20 years. So I have been with PrinterPresence. I'm actually celebrating my 19th anniversary with PrinterPresence this week. So I've kind of grown up with the company as well. So today we're just going to talk about what does it look like to have a great website, and what are some things that you can be thinking about as you're either contemplating a change or getting started. And so if you think about your website, it's the center of your marketing universe, and it should not only just communicate what you offer as far as products and services. Of course, that's important, but it should also compel your visitors to take action. And so PrinterPresence, we give you the tools to reinforce your visitors' decision to work with you by keeping them engaged in what it is that you're offering, and also providing a valuable user experience. So communication is key, right? And now is no different than any time, and especially now, I would say being able to show off your online storefront is so very important, because for most of us, our brick and mortars are not able to be visited at this time. And so what is really important on a website is being able to customize your content, being able to communicate the right messages so that people get to know you, they understand what's happening, and you get to show off what you do and how your business can solve some problems. So let's break down some of the must-haves to keep your customers coming back. And today we'll also be showing just a few examples of some cool things that some of our clients are doing as well. So you want clients to communicate with you, right? And with PrinterPresence, you are able to create online forms on the fly, and they're you can have as many as you want. They're totally customizable. And one of the things that we also do is provide education on best practices. And so here, for example, reducing the amount of fields that you have on forms can increase your conversion rate by up to 120% if you're able to get what you need and still have that in as few as possible. So keeping your forms straightforward is really important so that people can communicate with you. And so here you can see, you can request an estimate, you can place an order, you can send a file. The on screen, you can schedule a pickup, you can make a payment. If you provide maintenance on signage or anything like that, you can request maintenance. So all of these things can be very specific to what it is that you need and what you do at your company. And so creating the forms with only that crucial information is important. You can also have file uploads throughout the website, and so you want to make this super simple as well with drag and drop type of functionality where someone can just come on, drag their file. With PrinterPresence, your file transfers can be up to 2 gigabytes per transfer and unlimited numbers of files that you can receive at any time. So just making that really easy for users. So when you are evolving into online ordering as well, so not just having the online forms, but giving customers the option to order online can give them a seamless way to find your products and help you to complete the projects. And our clients see an average increase in revenue of 30% when they offer online ordering through their site. And here's just some more. On average, our clients are receiving $4,300 per month and saving production costs and increasing turnaround times as well. So all of these things are customizable through an administrative area where you can go in and add your products, add the pricing if you want to, and make it very streamlined for the customer. This is a great client that we have who's providing a list of bid projects and listings here. And when you click on one of these listings, then you have the option to pay for the plans right here online through the website. And in addition, you know, outside of, we were just talking before this started of, you know, how many of the participants today are offering reprographics and wide format and printing. And for most of you, it's all. You're providing all of these different types of services. And so being able to publish that information online, give descriptions about it, post those images that can really connect someone to understand what it is and what it means, and then also creating that call to action right on your site. That is so important in creating that engagement. So in addition to online ordering, you know, show your customers some love and really secure your relationship with them by creating a password protected portal. And within a portal, we've found that it's a great upsell tool with existing clients. It's a password protected area. So the client can log in with a username and password that you specify for them. And once they're logged in, then they have all information that's unique to them. So creating catalogs of items that they reorder often, or maybe there are specific plans or information that can't be public online and they do need to be behind a password. Those are all things that you're able to do through the PrinterPresence platform on your own. And of course, we offer unlimited training, videos, a knowledge base, and information to really help you through that process in getting all of these things set up. You can also do online proofing, so that you are able to send a link out to your client. They can look at it directly through their customer portal, and then they can also approve that proof directly through the system as well, or give you comments or changes. So it's a very streamlined process for proofing. And with VersaDoc, you can streamline that even more. It's a variable web-to-print solution that lets your customers select their graphics, their text, into templates of commonly ordered products or documents. So that could be posters, banners, yard signs. It could be business cards if you do that type of work as well. And so it really empowers that user to order themselves. This is something, my example here is very popular right now for all those poor seniors who don't get a real graduation this year, or it's delayed in some way, perhaps. This client put up their templates of yard signs that people could order for their high school or college graduates. And so very simple on the front end, being able to type in the information, choosing the school from a drop-down menu, uploading my picture there, and then previewing right here on screen. And then on the back end, you get a PDF file that is ready to rock and roll. So very simple, and it can be used in this sort of B2C type of environment, or it could be for those clients that reorder a lot of the same types of items, and they just need to update a phone number or update an image or a name and things like that. One of the things that we talk about a lot is efficiency. We're all trying to do more with less, find efficiencies in our workflow. And so PrinterPresence has several direct integrations. Payment Spring for payments, Presswise is a great print management and workflow tool, Salesforce and Focus, and then through Zapier, there are thousands of applications that you're able to integrate with. So if you think about any orders or client information that's being sent through your website, how can that flow directly into some of the other systems and tools that you're using to help eliminate that double entry of information? And so those things are automatically built in to PrinterPresence. So let's talk about just a few marketing tools as well. Built in are landing pages, and this is sometimes kind of a confusing term. It's like, is the landing page just my home page, or what does that mean? So I'll show you. But when you think about this statistic, visitors who enter a website through a landing page are 10 times more likely to convert than if they start on your home page. So here, if we compare, on the left, we have a home page where someone lands and then they can see everything it is about you. With a landing page, you're creating one centralized call to action within a page. And so you've likely led the user to this landing page from one of your other marketing channels, be it pay-per-click ads, it could be email marketing, it could be direct mail that you're sending out, and sending people, so they're connecting the message that they saw with the specific landing page, and then you're 10 times as likely to get that conversion right there on that landing page. The other thing is responsive design. You want your website to look great no matter what device someone is using to find you, whether it be their desktop computer, their tablet, their mobile device. And before the pandemic, mobile usage was exceeding that of desktop. And it's really interesting now that we're mostly at home, a lot of us, we're finding that it's kind of changing a little bit, but it's not going to go away. And smartphone users are purchasing from their mobile device. So again, you want to make sure that your website looks great no matter where it's being viewed from. and Printer Presence, we have pre-developed themes that you're able to select from, customize the colors, customize the images, your logo, of course, and your own domain within any of the designs. And email marketing is a tremendous tool in getting the word out and creating engagement with users. And there's a lot of different things that you can do within email marketing. And right now you probably are getting flooded with emails from different places, just trying to communicate, keeping businesses and organizations top of mind. But within email marketing, there's so many different things that you can do. You can do automated messages. You can do email triggers that are based on, oh, if somebody clicks on this, then an email will trigger based on that. Or maybe you haven't had an order from a client in 11 months or 12 months, and you want to send a reminder to say, hey, we haven't heard from you in a while. Things like that. You can set up your email marketing to do automatically for you. You're able to segment your lists so you know, okay, this is my group of clients who predominantly orders these types of items. So the messages that they're going to get are a little bit different than the individuals who are ordering these types of products or engaging with me in these other ways. You can do A/B testing to see what is really working. There's a very simple email editor that comes with analytics as well, so you can see how well are your messages being received and who is clicking on things and what is interesting to these individuals. So email marketing has a tremendous ROI if you have email addresses, and it's a great complement to the more traditional marketing channels that you want to show off that you're able to do as well. So our pricing is published on our website, printerpresence.com/pricing. You can take a look at that, and we would be happy to talk with you. Everything that we talked about today is backed by these lovely faces. This is our support team who is available to talk to you on the phone, so you can call and get real live human support from our team that hails right here in the Silicon Prairie of Lincoln, Nebraska. So with that, I will open it up. Ed, were there any questions?
Great, thank you very much, Molly. Attendees, as Molly said, please send some questions if you have any. I've got two for you very quickly, Molly, that I want to ask, and we can see maybe some other people will submit questions in the meantime. My first one is looking at the sample sites that you provided. They look very nice and very specific. And my question is, what is the average amount of time it takes for a business owner to set up one of your sites, like from the time they sign up to the point they're ready to launch it?
That's a great question. So by the time you sign up, we'll have a proof in your hands within 7 to 10 business days. And then from there, the sites do come with content loaded in already. We also, within that 7 to 10 day time frame, can migrate any content that you have from an existing website. And so that proof is in your hand. And then, of course, we recommend that you take a look and make sure everything is looking the way that you want it to. But typically, within 30 days, I would say that's a standard time frame turnaround for a Printer Presence site. We work on it for a couple weeks and get it to you, and then you work on it for a couple weeks, and then we launch.
Okay, great, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And here's a question that came up in an earlier presentation, and that is, how much ability does one of your clients have to edit information on their own versus having to contact Printer Presence when the change is required?
Yeah, within the administrative area of the website, you have access to update all of the content and images throughout all of the pages. You can add pages, you can remove pages as is necessary. You can create the forms on any pages and expand those with additional form fields as you see fit. The customer portals you build yourself as well, creating your own users and usernames and passwords for your users, creating those catalog items. So the design is pretty set. So once we have the design in place, customizations to the design is something that we would take care of for you. But as far as the content and images and catalogs and portals and proofs and forms, those are all things that you get to manage directly through the Springboard without having to ask us or wait for us.
Okay, great. Thank you, Molly.
You're welcome.
And we do have one question from an attendee here, and that is, do your order forms integrate with Op Center Track software? Molly, if you're not familiar with Op Center, maybe you can just speak a little bit about how your forms integrate with other packages.
Yeah, you bet. I'm not familiar with that particular software, but within the system, we have both webhooks and an open API. So all of the form information that gets submitted for any of the straight forms or the catalog forms, all of that information can be sent via a webhook into another system. So as long as the other system that we're talking about has an open API, then you would be able to create that integration. And that's something that we can either do as a service for you if that open API exists on the other side, or if you have that technical know-how within your shop or through Zapier. There's lots of different options for pulling that information into other systems.
Okay,
Great questions.
Thank you, Molly. That's the end of the questions. Attendees, if you have any others that you think of during this, the next two presentations, go ahead and fire them over, and we'll ask Molly at the end. Our next presenter is John Weisberg. Before we jump to John, I just wanted to mention something that I forgot to mention at the beginning of the presentation, and that is Joseph Zobadi's company, ReproConnect. If you think that you are familiar with it through their plan room, please don't skip Joseph's presentation, because they also now have been creating websites for people, and Joseph's presentation will touch on that a little bit. Okay, so now I'm going to switch it over to John Weisberg here. John, are you ready?
I'm ready to go.
Great. I'm going to change presenters.
Okay. Okay, can everybody see me? Can you see me, Ed?
Yep, we can see you, John.
Okay, very good, very good. So look, my intention was actually not to go through a sales presentation initially, but was really to discuss why you need a website and what functions you really need in the website. And our attitude towards this question is we want, you know, the purpose of this website is first and foremost is not actually to make sales, but although that's the result, but what we're really trying to do is, number one, make life convenient for your customers, and number two, to save our customer, which is to say the print shop or the repro shop, time. And the way we achieve both of those things is really by providing storefronts, first and foremost storefronts. Now, of course, they're websites, they can have a few content pages and this kind of thing, but they're really there to take orders. They're really there to allow a customer, you know, at 6 in the morning, before there may be anybody in your shop, to go online, find out a price for his document, even if it's an odd document, place an order, upload his files, do everything he needs to do in a convenient way. Because our attitude is if you make things extremely convenient for the customer, then you're going to start to win sales from that customer and obviously from other customers who discover your website. And on the other side, almost by the same token, if you're making things extremely convenient for the administrators, then the administrators will use our sites more and more heavily, and they will really benefit not only from some extra orders, but actually very significant time savings that come from a number of different sources. And they come from the idea of number one, if customers, if you build into your website, as we do, very accurate pricing calculators, not only your customers use your pricing calculators, but actually your CSRs use your pricing calculators. A customer calls up on the phone. What we find is that potential customer calls up on the phone, the CSRs automatically open up the website and start to give quotations directly from the website. It's something the customer could have done. Some customers like using the phone, some customers like using the website. But the point is, that's one way that's one among many that our customers make very, very significant savings in time. And one of the things that we've noticed, particularly in the repro business, is that the repro business is filled. The day is filled with printing. If you're doing a lot of plan printing, it's printing a very large number of very low margin jobs. And it is extremely important when you're dealing with large quantities of low margin jobs that you do everything efficiently. And if you can start to save time, you can save an hour a day, you can save 2 hours a day per person. That's a huge time savings and really allows you to catch your breath in a way that I see a lot of reprographic companies struggle to catch their breath. And I'll show off some of these things. So our sites are all about allowing customers to get quotes and place orders online, and then saving through the administrative side of our websites, saving our customers time. Okay, so I'll start to show off a couple of sites and then a couple of functions. So this happens to be, this is not, for good or for bad, this customer is a customer of ours down in Tampa. They are a classic kind of repro business. They started in the repro business, but of course they have branched out into doing wide format printing, all sorts of stuff. And we have built them a website, of course, and it is a website that takes orders for blueprints, it takes orders for posters, takes orders for all sorts of things. So the website will have a home page, but with our systems, customers don't have to dig very deep before they start to see pricing calculators. And that's what our systems are all about, is getting prices into the hands of a customer immediately. We really don't like the idea, although we do have pages that allow customers to upload some files and ask for a quotation. Some customers like to do things that way. We, of course, can do that, but we really prefer, and of course, it makes a giant difference to your business if your customer can actually, browse to your website, get a price quote, and then complete an order. If you allow your customer to go through all of those steps in a very simple and easy way, you're actually going to get a significant number of online orders. And because your customer is doing all the work on his end, your personnel are much less involved. And that's how you become profitable, when your personnel are not spending a lot of time on things like just giving out price quotations and things like that, but are actually there to, using their time to be productive and to produce and to help you sell. That's really makes a big difference to your profitability. So anyway, I just wanted to show this is an example customer site, again, down in Tampa. I'm just going to open up now one of our demonstration sites. So I didn't mention it earlier, but our system is called WP2Print. And this demonstration site is a little bit overly aggressive in the sense that there's not even any real homepage, just products. But the point is, you fill the site with those products that you want to sell, and then your customer can browse through products and categories and whatnot. But the point is the customer doesn't have to go very far before he's going to get the pricing calculators. So this is a banner pricing calculator. You are going to be able to show directly to your customer all the different choices that you want to give the customer. Obviously, the customer can choose the quantity, they can type in the size of the banner that they need, this kind of thing. But our system is essentially calculating the number of square feet. It's then applying a different price per square foot based on the material the customer selects. If they're adding grommets or any of these different things, again, you can see in the pricing field, anytime the customer makes a change, the price is immediately calculated and shown to the customer. And that's really the key to all of our sites, is getting price quotes into the customer's hands as rapidly as possible. And all of our sites do this, and that's what they're really about. And then, of course, this is just an outdoor banner kind of product. And if the customer is happy, we, of course, have file uploads built right in, and the customer can upload some files. So here, I'm just going to upload a file. It's not really terribly important what that file is, but we'll upload something. So we have upload files. And then, once we're done with this file upload, we're really into a checkout process. So the idea, again, is just to give the customer a real maximum of convenience, allow the customers to find their type of product, get a price quote, upload their files, and then go through the checkout process. I'm not going to go through the checkout. It's not necessary to see that, but it is, that's what our sites are really oriented towards doing, allowing your customers to do the full process online. Now, for the AEC business, we've actually built a number of very specialized pricing calculators. And I'll show one off here. So we do have a lot of customers who are in the repro business, and of course, they're doing a lot of AEC printing. And we have some AEC price calculators that, one of the, again, our ethos is trying to save the print shop time and bring in extra sales, but really save the print shop time. One of the things that really can kill print shops is a customer calls up, typically a contractor, says, hey, I just got this folder filled with 20 PDF images from my architect or an engineer. I'm going to send them to you, or I'm going to deliver you a USB key, and I want you to tell me how much it is. That can be a killer kind of request, in the sense that it's not even a real order. It's just a price quote request. So even after you give a price, you're not even guaranteed to get the business. And number two, it can be a very complex thing. If you get a USB key filled with 20 files on there, you can ask the contractor, well, tell me about the files. What size are they? What are they color? Are they black and white? He may not know the answer to that. And that can be a real killer. He says, I don't know. I just got them from the architect. I have no idea what's on there, how much to print them. And what that contractor is doing is really dumping the problem in your lap. He's saying, here's your USB key, or here's this big archive I have. You have to now sit down and spend 30 minutes opening up every one of 20 files, checking what is the size of each of the documents? Are they figuring out, are they color? Are they black and white? How much you're going to charge for them, and assembling a price quote. And our system has automated calculators to handle that kind of work. So we have different calculators that can analyze whether the document is black and white or color, and allow you to charge different prices for black and white and color. We have different ones that can detect what is the percentage of ink coverage on every single page in every one of the files, or I'm just going to show the basic one, which is just really going to be measuring the number of pages and applying a very basic per page cost. But I'll show it off. But the point here is that what we allow you to do just look for these files. Okay, so here's an example. A customer, one way or the other, gives you a USB key filled with I don't know, 16, 17 images, whatever it is. You don't know what size they are. You don't know if they're color or black and white. You don't know anything about them. And he says to you, give me a price quote for printing. Okay, what are you going to do? If you don't want to open up every last one, what we have developed is a little system. You simply drag them all here. And now our system, you can see it operating right there. Our system is actually opening up every one of those pages and figuring out how large it is. We can also do analysis about whether it's black and white and color and all sorts of things. And it's preparing a price quote. And basically you can see, here's a little report about all the pages that it found there. Here's this first file, second file, how many pages were in each document, what size was the document, we're rounding up to the nearest square foot here, and then it's applying basically a constant price, $1.20 per square foot for all the documents, and coming out with a price for printing each of these pages. And this kind of system can be used in the front end, it can be used in the admins, and you can then send a price quote out to the customer. And if the customer wants to accept it, he'll click a single button, it'll take him directly to a payment page, and it can just it can save you all sorts of times. Every time you get one of these things, this could be a half hour of work wasted. And our system really helps you save that time. And absolutely, with your website should be there to help you save time, and time is money. The last thing I wanted to show off, because this is one of the things that I have noticed a lot of our customers doing, and I find it extremely interesting, is that in these particular COVID times, we have a lot of customers that have shifted their business slightly to COVID products. And this is something that they and I've got multiple customers who've done almost the identical thing, but they've all discovered it themselves. And if you have an e-commerce website that really sells your products effectively, you can actually build this. This happens to be a customer in the south of France. He has built an extremely big business selling. These are little stay 6 feet away kind of signs, and in particular, he's selling a ton of these plexiglass barriers. Customers, if you've got a good e-commerce site, you can add products to it, and those are products. Obviously, COVID is a very, very extraordinary thing. We've got a lot of customers who, when their city has a special type of event, they're printing up posters and banners for that event. And if you plan this out 1 or 2 months beforehand, and you start placing some internet ads and you start creating some content pages, your site will actually come up very strongly when people, just to take an example, imagine you were a printer down in New Orleans and Mardi Gras was rolling around. Well, people are going to be searching, it's going to sound odd, but people are searching, a month beforehand for Mardi Gras this and Mardi Gras that. And if you've done a nice job with your website, you will actually get some very serious sales from that kind of thing. Here's another product that actually, another customer asked us to create a second site for him solely to sell all this kind of stuff. And this site has been remarkably successful. So these are, when you're good at e-commerce, you can pivot very, very rapidly and take advantage of, again, either special events, or in this particular case, for COVID, he's built up a very, very successful website in addition to his printing website. So he's got a printing website, but this is a new site that he built that's solely to do this kind of work. There's a customer down in Mississippi. So, your website really can help. Obviously you're hoping it's going to make sales for you, but it really can help make life much more convenient for your customers. And when you've got happy customers, you're going to get more customers. And these websites can really save you time by simply standardizing a lot of the tasks you do, sending proofs, getting approvals, and having specially built tools in there to do analysis that you would otherwise end up doing by hand. And so these websites really can make a very significant impact on your business, have a significant impact. And in particular, when everybody really is going to be opening up over the next 2 or 3 months, it's very likely that everyone's going to be opening up with fewer staff than they used to have. And if you guys were already frazzled by your workload, it's going to be even worse, I think, when you open up with fewer staff. And a website, it's number one, it's a salesman that works 24/7 for $150 a month. But beyond that, it really can save you time and help you manage the load with fewer staff, as I'm afraid most people are going to be, it's going to be the situation most people are in over the next couple of months. Anyway, there's the end of this short little presentation. If there's any questions, I'm happy to take questions and try and give an answer.
Great, thank you very much, John. I enjoyed that presentation. We do have a number of questions for you. First one is, the way the order form looks, it's set up for square feet pricing, but if someone has a per sheet method or some other method, can the system?
We have all sorts of different pricing methods for all sorts of different products. So just to go back to our demo sites, there you can sell fixed size products, leaflets, catalogs, all sorts of stuff. It's not necessarily price per square foot, but price per sheet. So here's just opening up a little leaflet product here, and this is going to be priced essentially per sheet, and folding and all sorts of stuff. Yeah, no, absolutely.
Okay. Another question, and I asked the same question of Molly, and that is, can your client edit the information without involving print science?
Absolutely. Our systems are actually built on top of WordPress, which is, WordPress today happens to be the world's most widely used system for building websites. It's open source. There's a lot of people who are familiar with WordPress. If you're looking for a graphic designer to help make your website look one way or the other, you can find them. And with WordPress, absolutely every single thing you see in the web page can be edited by the customer.
Got it. Okay. All right. Here's a question that I think is answered already, and that is, does your site allow for customers to order supplies, equipment, etc.? And it seems that you've shown that.
Look, you can certainly sell supplies very effectively. Equipment, is a little more complicated. I think, one of the things that I think is very important to understand about these websites, just in general, is that these websites are not here to take your big dollar orders. What you consider big dollar is up to you. But what I tell my customers is, look, this website is here to take your $50, your $100, your $200, your $300 sized orders. Let the website take it. Don't have your people waste their time on a $50 order, or at least minimize the amount of time they spend on a $50 order. Conversely, when you're talking your $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 orders, I think you really don't want that customer on a website. You want to be speaking with that customer on the phone, or even visiting that kind of customer. So if you're talking about spares and supplies, absolutely. It's your low dollar value stuff. But there comes a threshold. Again, it's up to you where that you put that threshold, but you really don't want, I personally don't think you want your customer dealing with a machine, that is to say a website, for a large dollar value order, where for that large dollar value order, you maybe want to send a salesperson out to them or something like this.
Understood, thank you. Here's another question. Can you speak to the concern that competitors will know your pricing and undercut you on your print orders?
Look, I think without exception, you cannot sell online unless you're publishing your prices, okay? Now, following on what I was just saying there, your competitors could indeed see your prices, right, for leaflets. But again, these are, we have actually put into place protections. I don't know if I have it active on this particular product, but I'm going to test it now. If I tried to place a giant order, we actually have protection there that says, look, on any given product, if the order value exceeds $1,000, $2,000, whatever, wherever you want to set the threshold, do not accept the order on the website. And you saw we have a little pop-up that comes up and says, please call us. Yes, your customers can see your pricing for small orders, your $100 orders, your $200 orders. Now, but they cannot see your pricing for your $10,000 orders. That's an important thing. Now you have to ask yourself, okay, my competitor can see how much I'm charging for 100 leaflets. Okay, how hard is your competitor going to work to try and undercut you on an order for $100 worth of leaflets? If your competitor's trying hard, they're losing money. No one can afford to spend time undercutting everybody else, checking out, researching what your competitors are pricing every day, for $100 worth of leaflets. They just can't spend their time doing that. And so that's exactly why we built into place this function to protect against large dollar value orders getting on the website. You really don't want your competitors to know how much you might charge for 10,000 leaflets or 100,000 leaflets. But for 100 leaflets, okay. If you don't publish your price, you're going to sell zero online. It's as simple as that. And I think that's worth the risk.
Understood. Thank you, John, very much. Very good presentation. Attendees, oh wait, here's another question just came in. On the bigger jobs, can the numbers and quantities still come through for a CSR who's using the system to quote the price for the bigger order?
The short answer to that is I guess it could be done. This is the issue. I mean, again, when a customer tries to place a very large order, we have this pop-up. Now you can of course customize what's inside of this pop-up. The difficulty is that one of the better practices in e-commerce is that you don't force customers to log in or create an account until kind of the last moment. So in general, it's not always true, but in general on our websites, with the exception of what we call private stores, which are kind of like the portals that PrinterPresence offers, with the exception of those private stores, we have public products like this, and this information is there before the customer is logged in. So you don't necessarily even know who the customer is. Now, in this form that pops up here, you can actually put in a little, if you wanted to, you could put in a link, or you could put in a little form that would collect some customer information. And then you would kind of, but typically again, for these very large orders, what you want is a phone call most of all. Now you can, of course, try to redirect the customer to a page like this, where this is really a price quote request page where the customer can give you some information, describe their job, upload their files, and then you'll get all that information. You can send them back a price quote. But again, for the very largest dollar orders, you kind of, I personally would want them to pick up the phone and call me as soon as possible. Now there are actually, we could link it to a system that actually, there are these little buttons where you click on it and it kind of dials a voice over IP phone immediatally. I've actually got customers who are doing that kind of thing. That can be done. But again, when a customer says, hey, I'm looking for 10,000 leaflets or 100,000 leaflets, you really want to get on the phone. You want human contact with that kind of customer, that situation.
I'm going to ask this attendee, Christian, if that answered your question, then that's great. If not, or if you have a follow-up question, please just submit it, Christian, and we'll bring it to John. But John, thank you very much. That's the end of the questions then. Oh wait, no, sorry, there's another one. Oh yes, Christian says that it did answer his question. So good, thank you, John.
Okay, good.
Good. So now let's switch over to Joseph. Joseph, are you ready?
Yes, I am.
Okay, I'm going to change presenter here. Again, attendees, remember you can ask questions whenever you want.
All righty. Well, thank you, Ed. And Molly and David, Molly and John too, I've really enjoyed seeing those presentations. It's interesting to see how we're all in a similar field here, and yet coming from different core competencies, different directions. I really like the marketing capabilities I was seeing in PrinterPresence, particularly those dedicated landing pages looked really neat. And then of course the web to print and the pricing engine of PrintScience is phenomenal. So you've probably heard of ReproConnect. We've been around for a while, about 18 years now, specifically working with wide format printing companies. If we haven't spoken to you specifically, you've probably seen us at some of the conventions or heard our name in the context of a planning platform. So it's fair to ask the question, why in the world is ReproConnect on a webinar about websites? And it is fair because historically we haven't been in the website game at all. Our core offering has been this suite of tools centered around construction document management. And that platform is still being used more than ever before, actually. Over 2,000 new construction projects are being posted every month on the Foundation Plan Room. From there, though, we've worked on building it out as a sales tool with customer branded sites that improve customer retention and sales, broadcast tools for things like ITB, file transfer tools. And with this platform now, we've developed a relationship with a considerable segment of the industry. In fact, about 1 out of every 3 reprographers nationwide, independently owned reprographers, is using ReproConnect in one way or another. As we continue to listen to our reprographers, though, and ask them where their pain points are and where they would like to see us go, we've been recently building out some of these offerings with a few new pieces. The one there at the top is electronic bidding, which has just really been coming online, and we'll talk about more perhaps in another webinar. But the other is online marketing tools. We're frequently asked for help in this arena. And we used to refer these elsewhere. We used to say, no, we don't do websites. We don't do email marketing. That's really not what we do. But it became very clear to us that there was a real benefit to our customers at having one solution provider and one integrated seamless platform. So we're now able to provide for our reprographers an integrated solution with a gorgeous website, with an online upload order tool, with the plan room platform, all in one unified way. And there's a lot we could talk about here. We could talk about the designs. We could talk about the mobile-friendly responsive designs, or search engine optimization, or how to craft a compelling message. We could talk about the content management system that you can use to manage these websites and update them, etc. But with the time I have this morning, I thought I would really just zero in on one point, okay? And here's the thing. I want to leave you with a takeaway that I hope will be beneficial no matter who develops your website. Whether you use PrinterPresence or Print Science, whether you hire a local WordPress developer, whether you build your own with Squarespace or Wix or any number of platforms out there, we work with print shops in all of those categories. In fact, Molly and I were talking before this call about how we have quite a few clients that use PrinterPresence for their website, and we have worked on integrations between that and the plan room, for example. But the main thing I want to talk about here is a huge mistake that we still see a lot of print websites making that I think is hurting your print business, and that I think would go a long ways if you fix it. I'm talking about your upload page. Yes, I'm talking about the one that handles all those ad hoc print orders. The one that you want regardless of whether you have a plan room or not for construction projects, or whether you have a web to print ordering system or not. This is the everything else upload page. Random person comes to your website, clicks, send us files, that sort of thing. A beautiful website design is great, and you want that. It's sort of like the front of your physical print shop. When cars drive by, you want it to look good. You put banners in your windows. You want to leave a good impression of your business and solicit new customers to stop by. They would want to know, are you open late? Do you deliver? Well, so if your website and your homepage are sort of the virtual front of your building, then I would suggest that the upload page is your front counter. When a customer goes to your website and they click on a button that says, send us your files, they virtually walk through the front door of your shop, and they're now standing at your front counter looking around for the receptionist, and they want to give you business. This is a critical moment. And yet this is where we see the experience fall apart so many times. We believe, and we've clearly witnessed, that it's costing you print business. Improving just this one piece will easily result in more print orders coming in through your website. So what do we mean by unfriendly or limits and frictions? Well, there's quite a few things we mean, but for example, 2005 called and they want their plugins back. Guys, these are dead. Java's been dead for years. I don't even know if people can enable it on new computers. It takes a lot of trouble. Flash has been dying, doesn't work on mobile devices, takes a lot of hoops even on desktop, and yet I took these screenshots yesterday. I clicked through about 20 different printing websites, non-ReproConnect customers, and I found Java and Flash being used on 4 or 5 of those. It's still that prevalent, and it's really ridiculous. It's like having a customer walk in the door and come up to your front counter and you tell them, I don't know, sorry, you have to be wearing a polka dotted shirt to come in here and do business with us. Please go get one first. Okay, that sounds silly, I know, but it's really that absurd. This is friction that is costing you print business. Similarly, you don't want restrictions on the upload. Imagine if your receptionist had a scale, and when a customer brings in a heavy roll of paper and you put it on the scale, you reject it because it's too heavy, which is ridiculous. It's 2020, folks. Web browsers can handle massive files. Ensure your website doesn't get in the way of large or high resolution print orders. That high resolution Illustrator file, even when saved to PDF, is a lot bigger than 100 meg. If you want that banner order or that yard sign order or whatever it might be, that's going to be a problem. It's costing you print business. This is another one that I grabbed just yesterday. This is a screenshot. As of right now, there is a reprographer in the industry who is rejecting all uploads because JotForm says their form's over quota. And this is just as an example, I think, of sometimes using cheap, basic generic tools really backfires. It seems like it saves you money. JotForm is very affordable. And I know I'm picking on JotForm here, but this could be Hightail or Dropbox or an FTP server or really any other solution in that category. These solutions almost always will let you down at some point, whether it's an upload error or a file size limit, or in this case, just flat out not even loading. This is where cutting a few bucks will ultimately backfire and cost you print business. I think of this as almost like, you know, when the customer comes into your front counter, you outsource the entire receptionist job overseas, and there's a speakerphone sitting on the front counter, and your customers now have to deal with a very awkward, difficult conversation to try to get their print order handled. That's kind of what sometimes these generic tools put them through. We believe it's costing you print business. This is one of my favorites. Again, this is live. I screenshot this yesterday. This customer, this reprographer is basically saying, if you have 50 files to send us or even 20 files to send us, good luck, go pick them one at a time. It's like if they brought in a stack of paper to your front counter and you said, no, I'm sorry, sir, you have to go back out to your car and bring them in one piece of paper at a time. Utterly absurd, but this is exactly what your virtual front counter on the internet is doing for a lot of customers. Here's the point. Printing is your core business. You know that better than I do. Doesn't it seem obvious then that making it easy for customers to get you print orders should be a top priority? That seems like common sense, but it's a point that I feel like a lot of print shops really miss out, especially right now during COVID-19. When folks are maintaining distance and working more digitally, your online front counter, so to speak, deserves your attention, and you really, really want to get this right. This is a quick example of the types of things we're doing. And keep in mind, this is just one piece of our platform. It's just the piece I wanted to look at today and leave you with. You want a simple online order form. Again, separate from a W2P system, separate from your pickup forms, separate from a Planium system. You always want to have that one single place anyone can go to drag and drop and send you an ad hoc print order. And getting this right, removing the friction, will almost certainly result in more online print orders. We've heard that story time and time and time again. This is not an area where you want to cut a few bucks, use outdated or generic tools, use plugins, turn away your mobile users, or anything like that. Some questions to ask. They're basic, but they're important, and they're still needed in this industry. When someone goes to your website, can they immediately find how to get you files? Don't make them scroll down and dig through the footer to find an email address, which is still not a great way to send you files. It should be front and center. It's your front counter. Can they send you everything they need? As many, as big? Can they include the order details? Don't just give them a big text box and make them figure out what information you need to know. If they are at your front counter, you might ask them to fill out a very simple order form, or they check the box next to how many copies and any finishing options, things like that. Give them that kind of an experience. Obviously, you want mobile support more and more these days. That's just an absolute essential piece. And then from start to finish, they should have a professional branded image that represents your company. They want email confirmations. They want to know that you got their order, that you're working on it, and that should reflect your company. It should contain basic information like, hey, if you have any questions, here's our phone number. If this is a pickup order, here's our address. Simple, basic things that can go such a long way. And that's it. I could spend hours talking through our platform, but that's just the one little tiny piece I wanted to leave you with today. And I think this is something that every single print shop needs to take a few minutes to go examine and consider. It's something that all three of the presenters here today have addressed at some level. And I think we can all provide various ways of solving this. Regardless of who you use, get this right. It's in your best interest. We at ReproConnect, we're prepared to set up a fully responsive, high-performing website, gorgeous, seamlessly integrated with your plan room, with your online print order solution, alongside, a PrinterPresence or a Print Science W2P solution. We've done that a number of times as well. At the same time, we can just come alongside. If you build your website with someone else, we're more than happy to plug in and make sure at least that you have the best possible online upload page to handle your print orders, which we have also done for dozens of reprographics companies around the country. So that's my email. Feel free to reach out if any of this makes sense or sounds intriguing. And I'll hand it back to Ed.
Great. Thank you very much, Joseph. Enjoyed that. Very good info. We do have one question, and that is, what is the monthly cost and file size limit for the transfer?
The monthly cost has a few different pricing levels, but it starts at $49 a month. So basically will pay for itself with the first print order that comes in, generally speaking. The file size limit, 5 terabytes, bigger than your hard drive. I've never had anyone hit it. Good luck trying to hit it. So we are genuinely trying to tell people it's virtually unlimited in the sense that it's almost never or truly never something that you or your customer should even have to think about.
Got it. Joseph, this is not a question from an attendee, but it's something that you mentioned to us before, and that is the File Rocket. What is that thing? That's something that you're offering, right?
Well, what I've just shown you is effectively powered by File Rocket. File Rocket is one component of our platform that just handles these ad hoc print orders with customizable forms so that people can pick their print details, drag and drop all their files, branded email notifications, dedicated landing pages if you need just for this thing. So that File Rocket is the official brand for what I've been talking about here today, yes.
Okay, and that's available for APDSP members right now at a special price or something? I can't remember what the deal is.
Yeah, right now it's free because when all the lockdowns started, we saw that everyone needed a way to get print orders online fast. And you can't have people walking into your shop right now, at least in a lot of markets. And so we put out, a notice, was it back in March, I guess, that we are going to make this completely free through the end of June, but we're going to even extend that as long as these lockdowns can continue. We're basically just saying, look, if you're a print shop, you need a solution right now to get print orders faster, better, larger file sizes, and without the hurdles of plugins and whatever else your website might currently have. I'll get you set up. I won't charge you a dime. And once this is over, if you choose to walk away, you never paid us a dime, and that's just fine.
Great. All right. Well, everybody, thank you very much for attending. That's the end of our questions. Let me especially thank Molly and John and Joseph for your presentations today. The information was very valuable during this time. This webinar was recorded, so later today, or more likely tomorrow, it will be posted on the website. So you're welcome to tune in again. And in the next APDSP Today newsletter, we'll publish some highlights of the webinar. So thanks everybody for attending. Visit www.apdsp.org for lots of news about COVID and the industry in general. And thank you for your time today. This ends the webinar.